Given the name of this band, I thought it probably more prudent to do an introduction away from the live interview. So you're definitely going to enjoy this feature. The guest is Matt Kronk of the Los Angeles noise punk experimental hardcore band Cunts, spelled CNTS. So there's no U in that name. And I really enjoyed this interview. Matt is such a vibrant personality, insightful, a lot of conviction, especially politically. We might not agree on some of the politics, but he's fascinating. Really enjoyed this conversation. And the first time I came across this band was really because they're signed to Mike Patton's A.D.K Records label. And anyone who watches this channel will know that Mike Patton of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle is a hero of mine. And I believe him to be the greatest vocalist of all time, certainly in extreme music. So I hope you enjoyed this interview. It's Matt Kronk of the band Cunts. Just before we start, where are you in LA? Where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in LA. I'm in a neighborhood called El Sereno. It's
Okay.
on the east side of LA.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm on the countryside outskirts of London. I don't know. You've toured with Quee, haven't you? The UK before.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Where have you been in England specifically? You know, when you've toured in the past.
Oh gosh, it's been a minute. I mean, London, Manchester, Glasgow,
Yeah.
Nottingham, Sheffield, Bristol, Brighton, Plymouth,
Full tour.
Minehead.
Minehead. You've been to Minehead.
We played in the ATP there.
Oh, cool. Yeah. There's a Butlins there. That's like this
Yeah,
franchise holiday group. Is that where you were?
that's where we were.
Yeah, my stepsister used to be a redcoat there at Minehead. I don't know if you saw any redcoats. They're these women that are entertainers. I don't mean that in a sinister way. They actually are performing artists.
To tell you the truth, it was in 2009,
Right.
and it's a little blurry.
Sounds good. I like the Melvins poster in the background you've got there, mate, as well.
Oh, that's from a tour. Like that was like a week before lockdown. We did Cunts did a little tour with the Melvins, and
Yeah.
that's from that. I think I've got a couple. Yeah.
Looks good, mate. Yeah. Do you know
Yeah,
what,
you can't see it as well. It says Cunts real small at the bottom.
Yeah. Do you know what, I apologize, I've never actually listened to anything by Quee. I know the name, and I do know quite a lot of the Yippee back catalogue, but it would be my type of music. I don't know. I mean, noise rock seems to be the generic term. I think
Yeah, I mean,
experimental punk rock.
I mean, Quee sort of started there, but we got pretty experimental and sort of avant-garde, I guess. And then
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time just like, hey, I've got some goofy idea. Let's try this. Let's try that. So like, we sort of we fall under that umbrella, but we don't sound like the Unsane.
No. Do you know when I introduce you? Shall I say Matt Kronk of Quee and Cunts? 'Cause
Sure.
you're probably more famous for Quee, to be fair, aren't you?
I mean, you're probably a better judge of it than I am. Whatever you like is fine with me.
Excellent. What I'll do then, I'll count down 3 to 1. There'll be a slight pause. I'll introduce you, and then I've got 9 or 10 questions here. What I've done, I've just gone through a few interviews you've done in the past so we can avoid all the repetition. So I'm not going to dwell too much on the motor accident because I'm guessing you're bored shitless talking about that, even though you nearly died.
Whatever. I mean, it comes with the territory. I don't mind. You can
Cool.
ask me whatever. I'm not terribly precious about any of it.
I've got some questions on that, but I'm not going to dwell on it, although it is an unbelievable story. And that's why I wanted to do the interview, because when this album came out, I reviewed it in April. That New Noise article, which is fantastic, the journalist who wrote that, hadn't come out, and there was no backstory on, the events of October 2020. So I thought, well, I just want to find out what happened. But then you've done 2 interviews since then and gone into great detail. So I was like, okay, Timing.
Dude, I'm happy to tell you the story. I don't mind at all.
Yeah, I think the viewers will want to know about it, but there's a lot of other things we want to go on. Just before we start, I imagine you've seen the news that Joe Biden is pulled out of the presidential race. So
Yeah.
hell of a day, isn't it, for politics?
I mean, I mean, good. Sadly, I think all that means is somebody else is going to lose to Trump,
Yeah,
and I hope I'm wrong. I mean, it's difficult in America to, how to put it.
are you an
I mean, like
independent?
I am a far left progressive,
Oh, okay.
so I'm not represented
No, you're
by
not.
either
Definitely not the
candidate.
Democrats.
I mean, I've voted Democrat all my life, and really, it has more to do with voting against somebody than it does voting for someone.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
You know,
Same thing happened in our election here. Labour won, but I think most of those votes
yeah,
were just anti-Tory, not necessarily socialist, voting for Labour because their origins are in parliamentary socialism, which they're not anymore. They're just a tamer version
right.
of the Tories. But I think there was no great, I couldn't sense any great enthusiasm for the Labour project amongst, the idealist
Hmm.
university class, etc. They're just like, okay, fuck it, we'll vote for him just because it'll get the Tories out.
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited when I saw that. I was happy for you guys. I'm sad. I'm sad to hear that it's not as great. It's not as fantastic as. I mean, and when is it ever, right?
I know. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't. I have absolutely zero faith in any mainstream politics. Like I say, I'm pretty far left. My parents were hippies. I grew up in the
Yeah.
punk scene. That's very much where I'm coming from. Um, I absolutely despise Trump and all of his sycophants and everybody. I mean, I'm just so beyond fucking disgusted with it. However, I don't know. I saw somebody summed it up somewhere. It's like some meme or something. It was like the Republican Party is like go fuck yourself, and the Democratic Party is rainbow flag, Black Lives Matter, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence why
You
you've got
know,
no faith in mainstream democracy or democratic parties. Yeah, you're not
no.
represented.
And I feel too that as I watch the news, and I actually watch conservative and liberal news sources just because I want to see what everybody's saying. And they're all lying about the same, I think. I mean, like when, I don't know if you guys get Fox News there, but when I watch
Yeah.
Fox News or one of the other ones, and they're talking about how, the Democrats are destroying America and they're fascists and we're all in danger. And if we, and then they're saying the same thing on the other side. Now, I'm certainly more inclined to believe to believe the left,
Yeah.
but it's the same kind of sensationalism and fear mongering. I mean, all they even have left to run on is like weaponizing our own rights against us. It's
Yeah.
like if you don't vote for us, Trump's gonna take away your rights and put everybody in camps. And it's like I mean, I don't think that's happening next year.
It's not
Um,
encouraging, is it, when the main message is vote for us as a necessary evil to stop the other guy getting
yeah,
in?
totally, yeah. And I mean, it's incredibly disheartening and just yeah. Like I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling.
No, it's
Did,
good. I
did you?
mean, I will start. I might include, if you don't mind. I think this is
Uh-huh.
interesting. I might put some of these clips in before the official start. Nothing, we're
Sure.
just
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
chat.
yeah. Fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh shit, that was on the record.
Yeah. You don't strike me as the type of person who cares.
No, no, and like there's no political party in the U.S. of any consequence that's worth getting excited about at all. They're all varying degrees of the same bunch of fucking horrible. They all lie just as much. Again, my tendency is as a leftist tends to side more with the people lying on the left. But I don't know. It's like they're doing the same thing on CNN that they do on Fox News.
That has a reputation over here as being like a bit of a jingoistic news channel,
Oh
partisan
yeah.
news, which we have. We don't really have that here. We do have a outside the mainstream news channel now called GB News, which does represent conservative Britain. They hate the BBC. They're seen as
Hmm.
like these left-wing Bolsheviks that are taking over the country. So we have got a milder version, like everything. Ours is just a
Hmm.
milder version of what you've got. I mean, let's be honest. I think over here there's a feeling that the culture wars, that term that's overused now, were really imported from American university campuses. That you see in America. These have all come to England now, and the wider UK.
Hmm.
So we seem to have a milder version of everything, every problem you have.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and it's really disappointing in a lot of ways. Like I should choose my words carefully. Um, the left does not always make it easy to be on their side. Um, I'm a leftist insofar as I think that everyone should have the right to be free and do whatever they like. That if you're going to pay taxes, you should be able to go to the doctor. My biggest, as far as like strong political convictions that I have, or socioeconomic convictions that I have, more than anything, and I think so many of these like sort of social issues are like shoved in everybody's face, so nobody's paying attention to boring stuff like tax law.
Mm.
To me, it all comes down to everyone being taxed the same.
Because like a flat
Because
rate income tax, you would advocate.
yeah. I mean, if billionaires and giant corporations had to pay the same tax rate as the middle class in the U.S., who bear the lion's share of that burden, we wouldn't have these problems. We wouldn't have people wanting to kill each other over, I don't know, like if everyone was taxed the same, there would be enough for everyone, and everyone would be comfortable, and we wouldn't want to fight with each other.
See, do you know?
And
Yeah.
you see that play out in countries like Sweden and Norway and the Netherlands,
Yeah.
where people are taxed high, and people are taken care of by the government. I mean, I'm sure there's assholes everywhere, but that works in every country where they do it.
See, it's interesting what you're saying because a flat rate income tax here wouldn't be seen as the Scandinavian high tax mixed economy in the United Kingdom.
Hmm.
This would be seen as free market economics. I don't want to use the word right wing, ultra libertarian policy here. In smaller circles where it's been mentioned, it would be as low as possible. What you're saying is that it's more of a leveler, like in Scandinavia, isn't it? Sweden and Denmark. It's just fascinating, isn't it? How the debate in the UK is so different. That what you're saying would not be seen as left wing in Britain unless they were marginally very high. Those tax rates. We're talking like 60%, aren't they, in Denmark?
No, I mean, I think I think if Jeff Bezos paid the same tax rate as me, I think we'd all be fine, you know. No, we just finished a tour of the U.S. and went through the South and through Texas and Arizona and all these places, and I was really appalled at how shabby so much of it is, and not even getting into culture or different viewpoints or whatever, just walking down the street and everything it's just poorly constructed, it's badly maintained, everything is cheap and shitty, and then you got people wanting to fucking kill each other over it. It's like, for why? Like, take it, like, it's all a big pile of fucking garbage.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, when the Deep South in the United States, we always think of, New Orleans is by all accounts, was a beautiful place before Hurricane Katrina. Like the band The Cure, Fascination Street is about the allure of New Orleans, for example, and like Louisiana and places like that. But yeah, even now, the way they're portrayed in films and TV dramas, they look like shitholes, a lot of these places.
And it's not just the South. I mean, you get out. I mean, one could make the argument that LA looks pretty awful too. I happen to love it here. I mean, that's not to say we're not without a whole world of problems that need to be fixed. But our bass player, when we were in Texas, was like, man, nothing will make you miss California like Texas. And we had good shows in Texas. And again, I don't mean to like bag on those places, and there are fucking cool people everywhere you go. We were treated very graciously everywhere we went. It's not like that. And it's just that like nothing seemed very nice.
Yeah.
For as rich a country as we are, I found it. I was surprised that everyone seemed to just accept so little.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's.
And again, like I'm a coastal elite. So,
were you born in? I know you said your parents were hippies. Were you born in Los Angeles as well?
No, I was born in Michigan. My folks were from like the Detroit area, sort of part of that hippie scene, and the MC5 and all of that stuff. But they moved to Minneapolis when I was a baby, so I grew up there.
Right. Okay.
I moved to LA 25 years ago in '99 when I was 21.
What was the 47. Reason? Were you studying there, or just wanted to get into find a band?
Nah, there was a girl. Honestly, it was kind of all of it. It's like Minnesota is freezing, like 6 months out of the year, and I hated that. So like the thought of like coming someplace warm was really appealing. There was a girl I was kind of chasing. The whole thing. I was a kid, with a head full of dreams. And just like Minneapolis is small enough that everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
And it was just I just didn't want to be there anymore, and LA seemed as good a place as any.
See, I can't tell with the accent. Have you picked up the accent from Los Angeles? Would your family say, "Oh, what's happened to your accent? You sound like you're from LA now"?
Yeah, to a degree. It's funny, growing up, my parents always sort of encouraged me to speak with non-regional diction. That like Midwestern Minneapolis, like Minnesota accent, like, oh hey, how you doing? Like I was discouraged. I was just it's similar. Hang on just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's getting warm in here. I had to turn on the air. So yeah, I mean, I grew up there, and it was a cool place to grow up in a lot of ways. Like I was, Minneapolis in the '90s had a really cool music scene and this cool skate scene, and like I went to a high school for the performing arts, and my job was working in a museum, and there was all ages hardcore shows every Sunday, and like and stuff like that. So but it's small and it's kind of provincial, and it's too fucking cold.
Yeah. See, I've
traveled. Oh, go ahead.
I'm from the northwest of England, near Manchester originally, and we've got shit weather permanently there. I didn't move
yes, you do.
Yeah, you know it. I didn't move to southeast for that reason. Like it was with work, but you do notice the difference in climate, even on a small island like Britain. Like Scotland. Fucking hell, have they ever seen the sun up there?
Man, it's such an interesting place. Like, it's so small, and yet the different parts are so different. I mean, every town has its own distinguishable accent, and it's like 20 miles to the next place. It's very strange. It's just so, I mean, America is so big, and lots of different accents, lots of different walks of life and all of that. But it seems almost as broad there in such a small part, in such a small area.
Yeah, no, sorry, I cut you off there. You're about to say something about, I think, Minnesota. Unless we've concluded that.
Oh, I think I was just gonna say, like I've gotten to travel over big parts of the world, like many times over, and LA is still my favorite place. I'm still thrilled that this is where I get to come home to. I've been kind of like, I could go anywhere. I'm not married. I don't have a mortgage. I mean, the only thing really ties me to anywhere, really, is friendships and, music stuff. And, I have a girlfriend and stuff, but, like, but the point I was trying to make is that I choose to live here because I like it.
Is it? I mean, the romantic image that we have is that it's full of these tall blonde women on rollerblades going to work on the rollerblades and men riding
Yeah,
Harley Davidsons topless in summer to the office. Surely it's not like
not my neighborhood. um,
that.
that's the thing. I mean, there's like the sort of like, image of LA, and then there's, how many other million people living, like normal people here living regular lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a very like lower middle class, working class neighborhood. I don't even own roller skates.
The other film that comes to mind is that classic Michael Douglas film, Falling Down. Me and my mum love that film. We watch it every year.
Honestly,
That's obviously LA, isn't it?
my experience is, that was shot like in my old neighborhood.
Right.
I mean, I've like lived in part like that army surplus store.
Yeah.
That was right in the middle of Silver Lake for years. It just closed like last year.
Wow.
And Silver Lake was kind of like the super hip neighborhood for years. And yeah, I mean, like his whole walking around, I know where all that is. I've always thought that movie was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then it's funny. My friends and I always used to say like if somebody was having a hard day, it's like, dude, I am falling down today. Like, but yeah, it's also, I mean, if you watch it as a comedy, it's great. If you watch it as a serious film, it's a load of horse shit. First of all, nobody like. I mean, he walks 40 miles that day with all those stops to kill all those people.
Yeah.
And Silver Lake, I mean, and then just the various racist tropes that are,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, it's great as like a parody.
Well, have you seen, do you know, actually, a film that describes that perfectly, as long as you don't take it seriously, another LA classic, a Sylvester Stallone film called Cobra. It's the most macho film ever made. Please tell me you've seen it. I fucking love that film. It's so funny. It's not meant to be funny, but
yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I know what you're talking about.
Watch it.
I thought that about Sling Blade too. Like through the right eyes, every fucking line in that movie is hilarious.
Yeah. Cliche after cliche.
Yeah.
We better get onto the music for our viewers.
Right.
I want to talk to you off camera. You're a fucking great personality. Right. Thoughts and Prayers, released on the 29th of March via Ipecac Records, Mike Patton's label. I'm going to quote you for an interview that you and Michael did for New Noise in April. And this is your quote. My initial idea for the band was 4 guitar players, no vocals, and it'll just be horrible. You've got to expand on that. Are you being serious?
Yeah. And so the original lineup was me and Mike, and then and our drummer Kevin, and then we had a different guitar player and bass player, and we were all just buddies, like all guys from bands, and we had like a group text for like sharing offensive memes and shit. And one of us in there was just like, hey, we should all start a band. And we were all in other active bands at the time, so I was just thinking like, yeah, like let's just do something. And we were all guitar players. So yeah, and this was actually before Kevin, our drummer, was in the mix. So it was just, so I was just sort of thinking like Sudden his name escapes me. Not Band of Susans. He was this arty, weird guitar guy from the 70s and like the no wave scene. Lee Ronaldo played in one of his ensembles.
Oh, so they're from like the Swan Sonic Youth scene.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Well, it was gonna be like that.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. It was just like, yeah, let's do something that's just fucking awful and bum everybody out for an evening, you know.
Drone music. Imagine 4 guitar players playing drone metal. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. My thinking was not so much metal as something really angular and ice pick in the foreheady, like Gang of Four doing drone music.
Joe, I'm looking at one of their albums now. Doing drums.
Sadly, it was not to be. And I remember Mike in that conversation was like, "Hey, you guys, do you want to like do a real band and like play for bunches of kids, or do you want to do something really shitty and play for 12 of our friends?"
Yeah, you wanted to go and travel with us, didn't you?
My response was, "Well, can our 12 friends come to the show too?" That's how that started. I didn't really expect it to go much beyond that, and when we all got together and played, it clicked really quickly. Yeah, and it was like very obvious really early on, like, oh, this is something. This is really fun. And, I've sang in bands. I've always mostly been a guitar player, and they all insisted I just be the lead singer, which I'd always thought would be fun. And it is. Yeah.
I want your opinion on something. Why does nobody use the term punk rock these days? It's like noise rock, or post-hardcore. No one ever uses it.
I say punk rock when I'm talking to people who wouldn't be interested to know what the subgenre is.
Ah, exactly.
I still say punk rock. As far as why that, or I'm maybe not the best person to ask. I've never really.
Dad rock? Is it like people? You know that term dad rock? You think punk rock's because even you said there, you'll say that as a catch-all term. If someone says what music you like, punk rock will be understood. To be fair, won't it? Whereas if you say if somebody seems like they have a frame of reference to go beyond that, I'll extrapolate on it. But when it's just like, oh really, what's your band like? Punk. Okay. I mean, like if I'm trying to sell it to somebody, I was like, oh, it's like the birthday party meets the Melvins. Yeah, that probably would be quite a good description. 2 great bands.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awfully flattering.
Obviously, we'd probably do credit them with inventing sludge metal really now, don't we? But their new album, I give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Tarantula Heart. Some weird vocal lines.
Yeah.
It's like Buzz has been listening to English new romantic bands like Spandau Ballet.
Well, Buzz listens to all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, he's like, I've heard people say like he has 3 brains going at the same time, and that's really what he's like. I mean, he's like, he's always playing chess.
Yeah.
And I know Champion's a lot of really cool and different music, and I've always sort of been of the mind that the only 2 kinds of music are good and bad.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Charlie Parker or Thelonious Monk or one of those guys said that originally, or some version of that. Buzz seems to have that same opinion. I mean, when you're like a teenager and you need to sort of define who you are by the tiny little sliver of things that you like, then it makes sense. But as a grown ass man, like for me, growing up, it took me a while to figure out that it's actually more fun to enjoy things.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's merit in a band like Neurosis putting an album out, post metal, which is fucking traumatic music, but doing that
Hmm.
for a career, Jesus Christ, that's going to take a lot out of you, isn't it? That type of music.
Yeah, I mean, shit. If they're making the rent, I mean, those guys are probably paying mortgages.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell in the
So,
music.
yeah,
The fucking anxiety of it.
yeah. I mean, I dig all that.
Same here. Yeah, I
Mm.
think it's I mean, I don't know if we're the same age. You said you moved to LA in 1999. I finished secondary school in 1999. So I'm
I'm
40.
I'm 40.
I'm
You go
go on,
first.
go on. All right, I'll go first. I'm 41.
I'm 47.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
So
but
yeah, it's just gonna keep getting worse, dude.
I know, yeah. But the thing is, though, I find now, even though I mean, I review 8 albums a week, and I've found at my age now, I just seem to gravitate towards really miserable post metal and sludge metal, and stuff like cunts as well. Really ugly, abrasive, but catchy music. I would say with yours,
Hmm.
with that Mr. Bungle type sense of humor as well in there, just to keep me sane, even though it sounds insane.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is. I think what I'm trying to do is cling on to the idea that I still love extreme metal. And don't get me wrong, a grindcore album's brilliant. I've found that I can't really listen to much death metal at the moment. I'm just so bored by it. And same with black metal. And I seem to go for more like noise rock stuff now.
I I probably enjoy a lot of that stuff more now than I have. I, you know, I got into punk before I mean, I liked like hair metal and stuff when I was like 7. I was
Yeah.
a huge Twisted Sister fan, but I got exposed to like Dead Kennedys and stuff like that when I was pretty young. So that's always sort of where I've been coming from. And the I I get pretty bored with metal. Um, I sort of like, I was a kid during the first like speed metal thrash crossover thing in the late 80s, and I was like into a lot of that stuff. And I just remember one day just kind of waking up and just being like, God, all of this music is fucking boring. And I mean, I love Slayer, and there's a lot of that stuff that I listen to and I put on every now and again, but it's not really kind of core to my aesthetic or my taste. Um, I'm I am more likely to listen to like the Rolling Stones. Like I'm more of a rock and roll guy than I am a metal guy.
Yeah, you're into AC/DC, aren't you? You and
Yeah,
Michael, the guitar,
but I mean, is anyone not?
true. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, how can you not? I mean, I'd say how can you
Yeah.
not have an opinion on them at the very least,
Hmm.
which just tells you that how relevant they
Hmm.
are. And
I saw the Stones last weekend.
what was the venue?
That's a big stadium in LA. I think it's where like football happens or something.
LA Rams
Um,
Stadium. Are they still? By the way, did they get discontinued? The Los Angeles Rams, or are they
I
still
don't know.
around?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention. I have zero interest in any of that. That I find so tedious and boring. It's insufferable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot of money in that sport, isn't there?
Probably. I don't. I mean, probably more than I have.
No, there definitely is. Let me give you a statistic before we move on. I think the least successful basketball franchise, I don't even know the name, in America, has higher income than fucking Real Madrid and Manchester United, two of the most famous soccer clubs in the world.
Uh,
We're just like, how is this possible? That's why all the American consortiums and private equity firms and hedge funds are buying up English football clubs. They see it as,
maybe I should try that.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, we
Yeah,
get
I don't know. I wasn't really raised with sports.
yeah.
I don't like them. I didn't play sports when I was a kid. I liked guitar and skateboarding and setting shit on fire. So all of that stuff. Honestly, I mean, it's so fucking boring to me, and I don't. I don't place any of my like municipal pride on our sports teams or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm glad other people are amusing themselves that way. I wish my tax dollars didn't fund it.
So what I was saying was the events of October 2020. So
Yeah.
a motorist rear ends your vehicle at 60 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You nearly died.
I didn't know.
Did you not? Okay.
I was pretty badly injured.
Right.
It was never really it was never life-threatening. I had surgery on my knee a few weeks prior, and the impact just blew that apart. I banged my head really hard, so I had a concussion. And over the course of almost 2 years, where I went to the doctor. They said I had like 2 discs herniated in my neck. I had to redo my knee surgery. And it was a whole lot of physical therapy and a lot of chronic pain. Up until, it was almost 2 years after the accident. Finally, after, jumping through a whole lot of hoops, the doctors decided they needed to operate and replace 2 discs in my neck between C4-5 and 5-6. So while they were in there doing that, they accidentally paralyzed my right vocal cord. So after about a week after surgery, my voice, it was like, I like that. Like this is as much as I could talk. I went back to the doctor to look at it, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we accidentally paralyzed your vocal cord. It's probably not coming back, but if it does, it's probably going to take years." So I had to sort of settle into that, which was pretty upsetting, It came back after like it started coming back around January of 2022. Yeah. It was 23? 23. No. December 22. And by the middle of February of last year, whatever fucking year that was, it basically had come back. So it was like after 8 months after the surgery, it had come back. And, had they told me you'll be fine in 8 months, I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to work, which I didn't. But, it was pretty traumatic thing to go through, and felt really hopeless at times. It actually, interestingly, I've got a friend who is in his 60s who had a few things go wrong with his health, but because I wasn't working, one of those things is that he lost his hearing. And so because I wasn't working, I was taking him to his doctor's appointments, and we had some laughs about it. I can't talk and he can't hear. He had an iPad that would transcribe conversations, but my voice was so faint it wouldn't pick it up, But I figured out after a few weeks that if I talked really high, like it would get loud enough that his thing would pick up what I was saying. And after a couple weeks of that, my voice started to heal. And within a couple months, it was back. I was fine.
Still a big jump though, isn't it? To go from being able to talk to actually scream, this is really aggressive vocal style that you have at quite a high pitch. So you must have still thought, well, it's just a bonus to be able to talk, but Jesus, to actually get to that level of aggression again and snarling vitriol.
Well, we'd all really missed playing, and we'd done some other projects together and stuff during the lockdown, but decided to give it another go again. So we got together, and I'd been like screaming in the car and stuff, like trying to practice, but I really didn't know it was going to come out. And we played our first song at our studio, and everybody said I'd never sounded better.
Which song was it? The first one you recorded for this album?
Well, the first song that we played, I think, was off our first record. It's called Dying to Hit. We hadn't started writing the new record yet.
Right.
But yeah, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, so far it's held up. So
Yeah, you've been touring as well. And are you still planning to come to Europe and the UK either early
as soon as we can.
2024? Are we in 24 now? Sorry, early 2025 or even end of this year?
Yeah, that's our hope. I don't honestly like. There are a couple possibilities of tours we might jump on. Waiting to hear on some of that. I actually need to reach out and talk to our booking agent because I don't know what's going on, and we don't have anything booked right now. We want to, and we will just as soon as we're able. And yeah, this winter's not out of the question.
Yeah, most of the Ipecac bands have definitely come through the UK. Oxbow, Mr. Bongo did some shows here. Spotlights, they've all been over here, haven't they? So Melvin's obviously will be coming over. Even Trevor Dunn. I think I think he's doing like a solo tour in here, something. Trevor Dunn.
Yeah, he's playing with Buzz.
Oh yeah, Buzz and Trevor Dunn, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're like the only ones who haven't been over here in the last probably 12 months. So yeah, it'd be good to you've got all the networking here and all the contacts, through your friends in all those bands anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we will get over there sooner than later. I wish I had more info I could tell you right now, but
yeah, understandable. Plus, you can't say anything until it's confirmed. I just want to ask you about, the vocal cord. So the surgeon accidentally damaged it. Surely, would there not be a claim there for loss of livelihood or medical malpractice or something that?
Well, I already had an existing claim.
You already had one.
I had it. Well, it was an open case,
right?
And so, the way that worked, as my lawyer just explained to me, was that it added value to my existing personal injury case. But if I wanted to do a separate case and sue the doctor for malpractice, the system is basically set up where you can't do that. Yeah. Like I could have sued him. I probably could have won, and what it would have cost to do it would have been more than what I got to do it. So I did end up. I mean, I did end up settling that case, and the throat injury definitely added value to it.
Yeah, no, and that's good to hear as well, because one thing that intrigued me, a woman who I work with, she's done the same as you. I think yours was a skateboard injury, wasn't it, originally on your knee?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's just completely obliterated it in the car accident. She did the same, and that was last year, and she still goes for therapy every week, and she's nowhere near coming off those crutches. And that's on her left leg.
It takes a long fucking time, and it's so slow. It's so, I mean, and it hurts all the time.
Yeah.
Like chronic pain, even if it's like low level, like affects your emotional well-being when you're, when like that pain trigger in your brain is constantly going off. It'll make you fucking moody.
How close were you to actually trying to get hold of OxyContin, during the worst of the pain? Because we know it over here as the opioid crisis, Purdue Pharma, this evil family that are now bankrupt. Were you, at any point, did you turn to OxyContin, or was it not available?
Well, I have a longer history with with
OxyContin.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a long time ago had issues with that stuff. I did have to take some painkillers while I was recovering for it, and interestingly, because I was a heroin addict, so
yeah,
no stranger to that stuff. But I didn't like taking it, and I had to, and you that's what that stuff is for, and I was very, very careful about taking it post-surgery. I wasn't taking it day to day dealing with chronic pain.
No.
I was taking it after having surgery if I had an open wound or something like that. And at that point, that's not getting you high. That's just making it hurt less so you can sleep. But it was funny because like I said, you know, I had some issues with that in the past, and having to take that stuff, I just hated the way it made me feel. I couldn't wait to be done with it. I mean, I think they gave me, it wasn't even Oxy, but it was something similar, and I think like after my neck surgery, I think I took 3 of those the first day, 3 the second day, and after that I threw them away, like, because I don't like to fuck with that stuff.
Why did you choose to write a song now called Junkie? Because obviously that happened in the past. I thought, oh, is this about William Burroughs' novel, or is it personal story? It seems quite late on, doesn't it? Did you just think I need to
Well,
get...
the story's sort of an amalgamation of a few of us in the band. I mean, why? It was just something we thought of. You know, we're like, we actually collaborated on those a bit more. Usually I write the vast lion's share of our lyrics. But that was kind of a fun one where like the 3 of us were hanging out, sort of just jotting down ideas, or like, what was this like? What happened here? And so, yeah, it's sort of like I say, it's sort of an amalgamation of a whole lot of experiences from the 3 of us.
Yeah, I just need to make it clear when I say why, absolutely no criticism in that whatsoever.
I didn't take it.
Good. Yeah, I'm pleased you didn't. Speaking of lyrics, there is an immortal line on this album in the song "For a Good Time Don't Call Her." I think you've been reading your Charles Bukowski. This is a classic. You told all your friends that I'm a bad guy. I told mine, when we fuck, you cry.
You know, it's funny. I didn't write that.
Oh, what? Oh, is that actually a quote from a novel?
No, Mike wrote that.
Oh my God, what a lyric.
Funny. Yeah, that was like a thing he was sort of just fucking around with, and we decided to do it as a cunt song. But I'll tell him you liked it.
Oh man, that just stands out. And musically, do you know what I like about that? It's got this mid-80s cabaret Voltaire type vibe to it as well, you know, with the synthesizers.
We've been working on new stuff, and there's definitely a component of that to all of it. I mean, we all like a lot of stuff like that, and so we're working on some new songs where there's some electric drums and synths and squeak and fart noises and shit.
Yeah.
Were there any other lyrics that you liked, or was it just that one? Because I wrote all the other ones.
Yeah, no. Do you know what, my last question I'm going to bring forward now. The closing track, Drown. Yeah. I can't decide whether you're singing "We're all dying in parody" or "We're all dying of anxiety." Because I was listening to it again today and I couldn't determine what is that called.
I'm saying we're all dying of piety.
Oh, piety, as in faith. Oh, right, okay. What does that tell you then, how easy it is to interpret it in a different way? Yeah, because you do...
Honestly, both of the ones that you said are just as good.
Because I noticed in there you do mention about civic society and, you know, I think really contentious, deliberately, you do say, like, don't send your children to church, they'll be abused, and then you're going through all these things in that song. The chorus, it's really emotive. That I think that's the best singing you do on this album. It comes from nowhere, the chorus.
The "We're all dying of piety" part?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I mean, it's a lot more melodic than just about anything else on the record.
Yeah. And then the other thing, where you're declaring you're a smart mouth shit talking son of a bitch. Do you want me to translate that from American English to motherland English? This is what we would say in England. In England, we would say big gob, the smart mouth. We would say Billy bullshitter, the shit talking. And we actually would use the word cunt rather than son of a bitch. So it would be big gob, Billy bullshitting cunt.
That's pretty good too. I'll use that for something else.
Well, that song, a great video for it. That song, angry song, but I really like how ferocious it is. You're like, look, I've been through all this shit. I'm not a shoulder to cry on. I don't want your sympathy. You know, like, saying fuck off. I don't want your sympathy.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you know, like, I mean, it was fun to write. It's. Yeah, I mean, we were just kind of going for like some big dumb rock thing, you know, like, and like, most of my lyrics have been really deliberately abstract, and I think on this last record, You know, I mean, it has to do with like losing my voice. It's like I can talk and I can sing again, and I just, you know, I guess that is to say, I know what it's like to have people not be able to understand what you're saying, and so like part of it was like, yeah, I just want to say exactly what the fuck I mean. And it was funny, like I remember like Mike played that song, or maybe even like one of the verses or something, for a friend of his, and he was, who knows me, and he was just like, dude, that's like actually like the most honest thing he's ever written. Like that's what he's like. I was like, all right, cool.
Although did you ever think in your career you would be able to write a chorus which is "I'm in pain" and literally mean it? That's probably there's a fucking song on here that says "I'm in pain," isn't it?
Is there?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Oh, I see.
Maybe the outro, maybe you don't see it as the chorus. But it's definitely like, "I'm in pain." It's just like fucking laying it on the table.
I'm trying to think of what that is.
Let's bring up. Are your lyrics on Bandcamp? Let's have a look.
I think so.
Thoughts and prose, right. Sorry, I should know the fucking song title, shouldn't I? I know the lyrics are not on Bandcamp. I wonder if it's Dear Sir? No, it can't be that.
Dear Sir.
Actually, I'm thinking.
Was it nothing works to kill the pain?
That's all right. Yeah, I'm sure you're saying I'm in pain, because I remember the walk. I was walking through this field today, and I opened the gate, and it was about 50 yards to the next gate, and it was Dear Sir.
Ah,
because you're lampooning like etiquette, aren't you? In that first chorus, it's hilarious. So I do know it is that song. Yeah, but yeah, I thought you were singing "I'm in pain," just like, and obviously meaning it because you've.
No, I mean that song's more of like a hating your parents kind of a thing, which isn't at all autobiographical. I mean, you know, certainly we was sort of going for a more sort of broad strokes, angry.
Cheek, I think we say that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, like kind of in the same spirit of just like, you know, like most, I mean, like the lyrics that I've written for Quee are always deliberately weird, you know, and I was just sort of tired of, you know, it was like, just sort of thought it'd be fun to like write some lyrics that just like made sense, that you would need a decoder ring to, you know, sort of like writing like riddles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and you know, I'm not always super comfortable with that. You know, I tend to want to be a bit more abstract, but it also seemed to work for the music, you know.
See, I think Faith No More have always been a bit like that. When I was listening to King for a Day the other day, you know, that 1995 album, I've been listening to that band since 1998. They are my all-time favorite band, to be honest. And like songs like Cuckoo for Kako and stuff like, even now I'm like, what the fuck is this about? But that's a good thing, isn't it? And I think you're saying you've been abstract, maybe not cryptic, but abstract in the past. Whereas on this one, like, you know, that line, "We're all dying of piety." That's quite a poignant line, that, isn't it? For a song. You know, are you saying we're all dying because we think we have to believe in something, and whatever it is, we convince ourselves that that's our meaning for being here? I don't know. Am I reading that wrong?
No, that works.
It's really. Do you know what's unusual about the way you deliver it? It actually is a bit like a hymn, isn't it? Like a religious ablution. You know, the way you're doing it. We're all dying. It's really morbid.
Yeah, like some monks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I hadn't really given it that much thought. Certainly not at the time that we were doing it. You know, now I'm just trying to. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the lyrics. Like,
there's a lot of lyrics in this song as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of a general, you know, anti-religion, powers that be are taking advantage of everyone.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that on that record.
Yeah, you do have a song where you're clearly critical of the dopamine effects of social media as well, don't you? Which I think is very nothing abstract about that. It's very. As soon as I heard that song, I was like, "Yeah, I know where this is coming from."
Yeah, and I'm on social media. I mean, I'm talking at my laptop right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, nothing hypocritical about that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm certainly not making any kind of like grand declarations. I'm certainly not trying to tell anybody what to do. Just making observations,
Yeah, definitely. Can I just go back to that period when you finally got in the rehearsal room, you still hadn't recovered your voice, you went back to playing guitar, it just didn't work out. How many other singers did you bring in to try and see if that would work? For
cunts?
Yeah,
just one. Our friend, her professional name is Crow Jane.
Okay.
She's old friend of the band. She did a cameo on our first record, and so yeah, we tried bringing her in, and having me play guitar because our old guitar player Sterling had to step out. But it just wasn't happening.
So she was in the rehearsal room. You tried to.
Yeah. And at the time, we had like some tour dates booked, and that ended up falling through anyway. So part of it, we like wanted to get her to do the tour, so so that we could still do it. But it was just not happening, and she's a dear friend, and I adore her, but it bummed me out seeing somebody else do it. Like, yeah, I didn't like. And then she wasn't particularly. She was doing us a favor.
Yeah, for these tour days. Would you have been supporting Venomous Concept or a band like that?
I don't think they've played in a long time.
Because they had an album out last year. I don't know if they. I mean, I don't know if they did an American tour, but
that's the first I'm hearing of it.
I can imagine you guys supporting them because it's what's it called? It's obviously it's Shane from Napalm Death, and it's the guy from Brutal Truth, isn't it? Kevin Sharp.
Yeah.
That band? Yeah.
My band played with Brutal Truth in 1998 in Minneapolis.
What was your band at the time? Was that like a straight hardcore band?
Oh, sort of more of a noise rock kind of a thing.
Cool.
Nothing you would have heard of.
But like when with Quee, when the guy from Jesus Lizard joined, surely that was like your fucking dream come true because you love that band, don't you? And they've got an album coming out in September.
They were like my favorite band.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, it was as awesome as you can imagine it was. It was like 10 times that.
Fucking hell.
For me. Yeah, no, it was fucking incredible. I mean, just getting to, like, literally the best show to this day, the best live band I've ever seen. So yeah, that was fucking incredible.
That is, isn't it?
He's also a really great guy. And I mean, that all happened because we'd sort of gotten chummy, but met through mutual friends and stuff. So we like, he's one of the funniest, like, kindest people I know. He's like an incredibly decent guy. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. That is just a hell of a story, isn't it? Like I say, you moved there in 1999. That first Quee album, is it 2007?
Well, our first record, technically, as a duo, came out in 2002.
2002.
Yeah, like we existed as a duo for like 6 years before we started playing with David.
Because you'd recorded that album, then did you re-record some of it, or did you get him? Was it ready to go into post-production, and then he joined? And you thought
a lot of it was, yeah. A lot of those songs were already written. There were a couple on there I think that we all wrote together. But yeah, that a lot of it was already done, and he really insisted. I don't know to what degree you're familiar with the record, but the first song he doesn't sing on, and he like insisted on putting that song first. A bit
of respect for you guys, though, just to say, look.
And just because it's weird, Yeah. He's got a incredibly unique sense of humor.
I think all you guys do. Because I'm looking at it from here in England, you know, the UK. I just see it. Everything links up to Mike Patton and Buzz. Any band that are on Ipecac, you know, like Oxbow, you guys. I'm just gonna listen to it. The ones over here, we who love everything Mike Patton does, and there is a lot of sycophancy, and sometimes I do have to take a step back and say, look, not everything he does is great. But yeah, I see y'all. Do you all fucking socialize together? Surely it's not as simple as that. Am I just romanticizing something here?
A little bit. I mean, Patton lives in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, when we're in town, we'll, like, say hi, hung out with them. The Melvins guys are around, and we all know all of those dudes too. I know Mike and Buzz, or Mike Crane from Cunts are pretty close friends, and I like Buzz a great deal, and Buzz and Dale both. Quee is actually working on we're doing a record with Trevor Dunn.
Cool.
On bass. So that's real slow going, but and we've toured with Trevor a couple of times. But no, it's not like we all meet down at the coffee shop and like get together for Christmas and shit. But I must say, for me, just sort of being mentioned in the same breath as giants like that is incredibly cool. I mean, they get to be like socialized with and work with and play with these people that I grew up admiring is pretty incredible. I feel really, really lucky that I get to even be on the periphery of those circles.
Well, it looks like you're at the heart of it to me, just with Quee alone, and the reputation you got there. Like Oxbow, very interesting band, Oxbow. You like one moment they sound like Voivod, and the next moment you're listening to really emotive soul music. You're like, what the fucking hell is this? This is incredible. Just so yeah, no, I all that's, I see you as a circle, and that and I just listen to all of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all friends, if only loosely. Any of those guys would be welcome to crash at my place if they needed to.
Yeah, Trevor Dunn's in New York, isn't he?
Yeah, he I saw him. Well, Kunz played out in New York a couple months ago, and he came to the show. He's another guy too who is just like so fucking nice and funny and just fun to be around. Yeah. The way Quee, because Quee did a record with him like 6 years ago. And do you know who Toshi Kasai is? He produces all those Melvins records and stuff.
I know the name. Is he only a producer, or is he a performer?
Yeah, he used to play with Big Business, but he's mainly a producer, and he does all the Melvins records and has done a lot of stuff associated with that. But he was the one who suggested that we reach out to Trevor about collaborating, and as I didn't know the guy. But Toshi encouraged me to reach out, so I did, and he was just so incredibly gracious. He had heard something that we were doing and liked it, so agreed to do that. And then agreed to come on tour with us, and flew out from New York and stayed with me while we recorded a record, and is just really, really nice. I mean, that's a thing. I mean, like all of those guys, these people who are absolute giants in their field, and they are all nice people, like no pretense, no rock star shit. Everybody's just fun to be around and treat everybody respectfully, and yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. I've found over the years, as I've gotten to know or even just meet some of those people, that most of the really good ones who have a long-lasting career are all like that.
Yeah, and look at your background, punk. There are no rock stars. It's forbidden. It's against that, isn't it?
Some people still pull it off. I mean, I don't want to get into a big debate about what is and isn't punk, but
Yeah.
There's assholes everywhere.
Settles it. That settles it. Okay, so I've got a couple more questions then before we wrap it up, because I know it's only midday there. You've probably got plans for the rest of the day.
I have to go to work.
Oh, there we go. Actually, then, first one, what did you do for income during those 2 years? Does the state step in and pay your medical?
I was on disability.
Okay, yeah.
That was the main thing, which isn't a lot of money. I was fortunate in that, I had a large pending lawsuit.
Yeah.
That wasn't really being contested. So it was an inevitability that I was going to be getting a settlement. It was just how much and when. So based on that, a couple of times I was able to take advances from my attorney's office against my settlement.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And I, sold some shit.
Were you at any point thinking, fuck me, I'm going to be evicted here, I can't pay my rent?
Fortunately, I never found myself in that situation. There were moments where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But I was honestly, the way that whole thing went could not have been more ideal. I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose my home. I didn't lose my car. I was taken care of. There are a few times when people from my family had stepped in. But no, I was okay. I was okay. It could have been every component of that story could have been an absolute catastrophe.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And I'm fine now.
Good to hear. Yeah, definitely. Good to hear that you can pay your rent, you can eat, you can sing again.
And most people who have health problems don't get a big fucking check at the end of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I'm by no means a millionaire or anything like that, but it was,
Hey, it means you can, if it means that you can play music for the next 5 to 10 years and not have to worry about rent.
I was able to sort of, I guess, buy into a business and start working there. So that's been really cool. I mean, I work as a bartender like a day or two a week, just kind of. But my main income now is I sell vintage guitars.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hell. So like tonight I have to go work at the bar, and then I have to get up tomorrow like 6 a.m. and drive to San Francisco to go pick up a couple of pieces that we bought and take them back here and sell them.
You're grafting, mate. Is that a word in America? You use that word graft. I think you use grind, don't you? Grinding.
Yeah, we say that, or we'll say hustle.
Hustle, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we say graft.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked a lot harder for less. I have to work a double at the bar tonight, which sucks, but
are you living off tips in that job? The perception
that's the lion's share of the income on there. It's about probably 70%. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Still not.
Before you get off, I better ask one last question then. Do you envisage a day when you and the band are going to remove the stockings from your head when you're performing?
Man, we have had so many conversations about that. I don't know if we ever will. There's lots of times when I would love to. Anytime that conversation starts and we like run that by anybody outside the band, they're like, "No, that's your thing." Like, what if our thing was just playing good? Like, I don't know, but but the thing is, like, I like kind of how I came up in the music scene and all that stuff is that sort of thing was, like costumes and whatever was kind of not done.
No.
But like, my perspective on that is very small and myopic. And people do respond to it, and it is sort of our thing. And I don't know. I mean, if everyone agreed that they wanted to, I'd be totally fine with that. It's really uncomfortable. I mean, shit, I spent for our tour, I spent $500 on pantyhose before, like, for the tour. But you know what I mean? I would love to not have that expense.
So do you know when you're wearing it, surely you have to cut a hole in it, don't you? Obviously, for you to get the
No,
rest of it.
I kind of go with the mic right up against my
Oh,
mouth.
fuck,
That wears out. That like the hole wears pretty quickly.
Oh, right, okay.
Our drummer always cuts an eye hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I
don't think it looks silly. I mean,
I don't think it does either.
You look like fucking bank robbers, obviously, don't you? That's
kind of the idea. Like when we were starting out, like some of the other guys were like, we should wear masks, and they started talking about all these elaborate costumes, and I was just like, I don't want to do any of that shit. So the compromise that I thought of was, what if we just wore these stocking masks? It's cheap. It doesn't look stupid. Yeah. It's not a pain in the ass to carry around. And I was like, I can live with that.
What's that film with Keanu Reeves? Is it Point Blank?
I don't know. Was it Point Break?
Point Break. That's in LA, obviously, isn't it? It's got to be.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but yeah.
Oh, what a film! That is a fuck. Sorry, they go around wearing
president masks.
President masks, yeah, when they're pulling off a robbery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'd even talked with somebody about like doing some more elaborate masks and stuff, and I kind of put the kibosh on it. Like, I don't want to wear anything that's going to totally obscure my face. I don't want to wear something that's going to be made of rubber. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, facial expressions are a part of the performance, and it's like, I'm not doing anything. I will not agree to do anything that's going to make me more uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, especially what you've gone through as well. Just being able to have your voice back is good enough, isn't it? Well, thanks very much for joining us today, Matt. I'm just going to
okay?
our viewers, go and check out this album by Cunts called Thoughts and Prayers. It was released on the 29th of March by A.D.K Records. So it's on vinyl and CD. It's definitely on vinyl, isn't it? Is there a CD version?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly, yeah. And hopefully, I'm guessing we'll be able to see you here in the UK, either the end of this year or early 25.
I sure should hope so.
Super. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
If I said anything that sounded really stupid, please edit it out.
I will have to do some editing because we've got 2 videos here, haven't we?
All right, great. Yeah, just I don't want to seem dumb.
No, don't worry. I thought, do you know what? We could have gone on for another hour if you didn't have to go to work and I didn't have work tomorrow. Absolute pleasure, and I'll definitely see you when you play a show in London.
Likewise, my friend. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Mate. Enjoy your shift.
Nope.
No, well, it's a saying.
Yeah, well, I'll endure it. Have a good one, man.
Thank you, mate. Bye.